guys, welcome back to $1 Million Showgirl, where I teach you the old-fashioned razzle-dazzle. I was debating on whether or not to actually make this video because there's so many online already, but I noticed that they're mainly all like drag style wigs where they're teased, they're a little bit more larger than life. And I wanted to do one that's more, not neutral, but like in between, where it's still like that perfect showgirl hair, but it's not too much, so people won't even know it's a wig. A lot of other performers that you see in a lot of like larger productions, you wouldn't even know they're wearing wigs. Their hair's just perfect, it looks natural. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I linked below the wig I buy. It is a lace front. I've bought so many, it's like botany, but not. I've bought so many of this brand of wig. It's some weird name, but I'm going to link it below. It's lace front and you can use regular heat styling tools on it. I cut this. I'm going to show you the style I cut it in and all that stuff in a minute. What else you're going to need is a foam head. I'm using just a random foam head that I usually have laying around. And then I'm also using, this is just a tripod for a camera. You can probably use a stick. I don't know, one of those brooms that stand up on their own. That would probably be the best use of one of those brooms, I'm assuming. If not, there is a $20 kit. I don't know how it's $20, but it has a actual wig block and a stand. I'm gonna link that below because that's a great deal. And if you're really serious about doing more wig stuff, which is kind of addicting, it'll be there. Alright, I've said a lot of times and I am so sorry. I have been, a little update on the channel, I have been a full-time traveling performer for about 2 years. And when I'm not traveling, I'm working on other shows and acts and doing commissions, so I'm sorry I've been slow on this channel. But now that I'm in quarantine, you get my undivided attention because I am now an officially out of work showgirl. So we are gonna get started right now. Alright, let's go over some of the stuff that you need besides the wig and the wig holder situation. I am going to be using the Got To Be hairspray, the tried and true Got To Be. And then I'm also using, I have a couple different types of brushes I use. I have, oh god, I'm so sorry. I have a dirty brush. It is from Sally's. I'm gonna find an equivalent on Amazon. This is great for vintage styling. Every like extracurricular course I've taken as extra like classes on vintage hairstyling, I've taken a lot. This is the most recommended. It also helps tame frizz because it has the rubber thing. Mine's really dirty. It probably doesn't do that anymore. I also have a wig brush because it's a wig. And then I have a, oh my god, this stuff is just everywhere. I have a smoothing comb. I also usually have a pintail comb, but I lost it, so we're just gonna pretend I have one and go from there. Next, you're gonna need, so there's a way to, just dropping things now, to do this without rollers. I am using these vintage style rollers with metal and this net. You can a whole bunch just on here. They're like bugles. Yeah, so we're gonna use these. Oh yes. So these are the rollers we're gonna be using. Amazon doesn't sell them anymore. I think they're discontinued. But on eBay, I'll link a couple links and also the keyword search to find these on eBay. Huge piles for like so cheap, so you can like do 20 wigs at the same time, and it's amazing. I like these. The theory behind it, or not the theory, what actually happens is the wire will help carry the heat because we are going to be steaming this wig, and it'll help hold the heat in there and get as much hair as possible heated up. I am linking below the size of these because I forgot. I also have these smaller ones just in case they run out of the bigger ones. See how that goes. And so, and now, so you're probably wondering how we're going to hold these to the head. We're going to use hot glue, super glue, and spit. And I'm joking. So basically what we're doing is I have 3 options for you because I'm also in quarantine and I feel like I'm probably going to run out of the main option I choose and I'm going to have to switch to another one. When I use those in my actual hair, I use regular old pin curl clips and you can just stick it in there. So I have a bunch of these that I'll be using because I'll probably run out of the pins. Another option is little T-pins. Ooh, hello. Little, I'll put a photo up on the screen. It's like, look at this cup. And there's also another option, which are these handy dandy little skewers. I'll show you how to use those. I like to use these, I just think they look cool. It makes me feel like it looks so professional because this is probably not the best professional job you've ever seen, but it's definitely a way to get it to look professional. Also, you're probably gonna need a drink or something because you're gonna be here a really long time. I'm probably halfway through gonna pop a bottle of champagne that I found. I think it's for one of my performances, but since I'm not performing and I have no job, we're gonna watch me drink champagne. So basically what we're gonna do is cut it to the length you want. You probably do not want it that original like 24 inches because it's really hard for the curls to stay. They'll break apart because shoulder movement. It just really depends on the look you're going for and how you're gonna wear it. If it's gonna be like a lot of hair flipping, I mean, your choice, your choice. I'm not gonna judge anyone. There's more ways to do this than what I'm showing you. This is just a really easy standard way. And everyone's in quarantine, so it gives everyone a nice way to refresh their wigs. So cut it to the length you want. Do it in like a ponytail, whatever. And then you're gonna grab some, probably household scissors. I don't know. Figure out the part you want. So it's lace front, so you can see your scalp. So pick the direction inside that you want your wig to go. What we're gonna do is cut a horseshoe, basically. So it's gonna go in a circle, up and down. Make sure it's straight. You also just don't want a lot of curls in there when you're rolling the rollers in the hair because it will probably not set your curls as well as you think it will. It's very misleading. I've done that before. It's from experience. Don't try it. So I'm gonna look at this. You don't want to cut too high up, but you definitely want to cut, there we go, a big horseshoe shape. And it's a wig, so do not fear. So the longest will be right at the back, so it's going to look like this. I'm going to go around, so kind of flatten out right there. And to get it even on this side, we are going to do this. Ooh, this is luscious. Alright, here we go. Sorry. Alright, here we are. Doing this. And you definitely want a blunt cut. Little do-rags off, little flippies. This is a very thick wig. It has a lot going on. So make sure you have like, there's gonna be little tendrils sometimes. So if this is like where your part's going, so Jessica Rabbit look, you can also cut this a little higher because then the curl will kind of bunch up there depending on the style of curl you're going for. We're going for definitely more of a Jessica Rabbit vibe with this because that's the normal style of hair I do. But my hair is damaged, so I don't want to deal with that. I'll cut this a little higher. There we go. Perfect. Next, we're going to take some duckbill clips, and we are going to kind of know where your ears are. There's probably not going to be ears on the head you're using unless it's a person, which I probably don't recommend using because, I don't know, get creative. And we're going to go take our fingers and then go straight down the sides. So we're gonna separate the back from the front pieces. I'm gonna take a duckbill clip it, just like that. Do the same on the other side. Roll, clip. Oh, here we go. Roll and clip. This nice large back area. So I'm a type of person that likes to go top down because that's how I style my own hair on my head, because it makes it easier for me than going bottom up. So it's probably not standard, but that's just how I like to do this situation. So I'm going to lower this, and then we are going to get started rolling. I'm going to grab one of our big ones. Also, another reason to start top down, if you're afraid you're going to run out of your little rollers and you're going to end, like I feel like I might run out, and I have these left, at least at the end it'll end up at the bottom underneath. So it won't be a big deal, like having it mixed in or something, for this particular curl pattern. So I'm gonna also, I'm using the little T-pins to keep the wig on the head. Very helpful. Okay. This is where a pintail comb comes into handy. And if you're not sure what that is, I'm going to put a photo somewhere on this screen. I do not have one because for some reason, when I got back from my last show, it never made it home with me. So I'm still mourning the loss of that. But we're gonna get started anyway without it. We are going to take... My nails are long enough from being quarantined though, that they can act as a pintail comb. So we're gonna do this size section. It's about, just spin it around so you see. It's not too thin, not too thick. Straighten it out, and then we are going to roll down. So we're going to take this, we're going to roll it, and then we're going to hold it together as we tightly keep swooping the little extras underneath. You don't want that weird rat tail when you're done. Alright, I'm going to do it pretty tight. Keep it tight, like straight up as you're going, or as you're going straight out. Okay. Perfect. So now we have our first roll. And I'm going to use the T-pins for this one because they hold better on a wig. So you just shove it and it goes straight into your mannequin head. And so we're going to repeat all the way down this particular section. Alright, so we got the front part done. And so you're going to do away and down. So with the back, what we're going to do is we're going to still roll down. I'm going to take these out. But we're going to go in a bricklay pattern. So you do 1, 2, or 3, and you just kind of make sure that they are staggered. That way you get nice even curls as you go down. Can you do that right? Alright, so we got the front part done. And so you're going to do away and down. So with the back, what we're going to do is we're going to still roll down. Take these out. But we're going to go in a bricklay pattern. So you do 1, 2, or 3, and you just kind of make sure that they are staggered. That way you get nice even curls as you go down. Can you do that right? Alright, so I called it running out of rollers. So I think I officially run out of the orange rollers. And I still have a good amount of these yellow ones ready to go. So the hole underneath is going to be these smaller ones. And we're going to see how this goes. So now we're done. I ended up doing a little bit thicker sections for the teenier rollers just in hopes that it'll make the curls a little bigger. Also, I was completely running out, so gotta do what you gotta do in the middle of the apocalypse while trying to style a wig. I also added little pin curl clips because the hair was so straight it didn't want to roll, so that just kind of helps keep it in place before I steam it. What I'm going to do before steaming though is move some of the pins that look like they're leaving little indents away from those spots, just in case. You don't want to fuck up your curls. I definitely don't because I already fucked up the curls. So I want to keep going from here. Also, though, this is how you use the little, they're kind of like using the pins, but you usually put multiples in there. I used them on a couple because using pin curl clips didn't quite catch on the bottom there. So our next step is we are going to steam Sheila. The steamer I am using is this Conair one. I got it at Target. It was super cheap. Targets are still open too. So don't let them judge you for buying one of these while you're there. It has multiple settings. I like it because you can turn it on, it heats up, and it won't start putting steam out, because then you can slip it to high or low, and then you can stop it without turning it off and stopping the steam and having to let it heat up again. So I really like that. It's also nice and smooth right here. I can press up against things. When I was straightening the hair, it was really good to hold the brush and just straighten it down like a normal straightener. That really helped a lot. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to plug this in and we're going to get some steam going, and then we are going to steam the whole head. There's different ways to do this. I like to do like at least 20 seconds per roll. Takes a little while. And there's also another way to do it where you put a plastic bag over it and you shove this in there and you kind of make like a hairdryer situation. So I usually like to do both because sometimes curls just don't take and I want to be extremely like on top of the curl situation, and overkill will not like melt the hair or anything. Hasn't yet, so might as well do all you can. And I usually leave it overnight after that because I want to also just give it extra, I'm not in a hurry, and I want to give it an extra chance to like really set into its new lifestyle it's about to live. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow and we will do a cool brush out and pray to the roller wig gods that this tutorial, this apocalyptic wig tutorial is gonna work out for all of us. Alright guys, it's now the next day, and I've kind of steamed her out throughout the day just because I had nothing better to do in quarantine. So we are ready to release the curls. So let's do this and hope for the best. Alright, now that we have all of our rollers out, we have these nice Shirley Temple curls going on. So what we're going to do is grab our little rubber brush. A paddle brush is also really good for this, or whatever you have laying around type of deal. That's kind of how this tutorial is going. So we're going to just start in the back because it's all sectioned. I'm going to try and leave this front part for last because the only part I want to tease on this is this front part. I might end up teasing a little bit up here if it needs a little more, but I really want to keep it more of a natural, like, not drag queen look tonight. So we're just gonna get going. It's gonna start making its curls pop out. Here we go, we got the waves. In a second here, we're gonna take our Got2b and some duckbill clips, and we are going to start shaping these curls. Also, this wig, this particular brand of wig I'm linking below, it is quite thick, so don't forget to get under there and loosen up those curls. And you can see it's starting to take shape. We're gonna get some nice waves going on in here. About to grab the hairspray in a second. At the end, for the ends, so the length I chose here. If it's longer, it might be a little harder. I'm going to start curling it in as we go. This will also help with the thickness so that it all comes together. It's quite thick. It's a lot of hair. Some nice curls here. As you can see, we're going to start curling them in like this. And then slowly, all of our will just naturally go together. The amount of hairspray you're going to need is going to depend on like your own preferences at this point. It's all about the set, which is the big deal. It's all about how you set the curls. Seems my little trick of using the smaller ones on the bottom did not affect it in a negative way, so we're good on that. Cool. Alright. I'm gonna keep going around until we're fully set, and then we're gonna deal with the front part. Alright, since I have a pretty good brush out here, I'm going to start doing hairspray and duck-billing it to hold the curls. I lost a lot of my duck-bill clips, so I'm going to use the duck-bill clips I do have for the front pieces, and I'm going to use those pinco clips to help with the back pieces. It's just a lot more clips, so there's nothing, don't be alarmed. So I'm going to leave this nice curl here. Take our Got2b, lightly spritz it. You don't want to use too much, especially with this stuff. It's also a wet set hairspray, so if you do use it, it takes a second to dry, but if you want to speed that up, use a hair dryer because that will help it set faster. But you can also just let it do its thing with the air handle. Blow on it, something. Depends on how impatient you are, I assume. Keep going around with the rest of these things. Alright, so I was on time-lapse filming still, so I didn't show you the part that I just did. I'm glad I noticed. I took our last two sections that we have up here and I married them together because they had a little kind of like space between them. I used a smoothing comb. Pintail comb works better. I'm going to put a photo somewhere around, floating around me in this film. Works better for this, but this is just fine. Use what you have, we're in quarantine. And then we're going to go in like U-shaped motions. And we're just kind of marrying them together, like from the part that's going to be hidden, not from the top. You don't want to do that. This is synthetic hair, so it's a little bit harder to smooth. And we're going to use our Got To Be. I already sprayed it, so don't spray it again. And we're going to spray it. And you'll have time to work with it because it is a wet hairspray. It's not going to dry immediately. And then we're going to slowly sculpt our curls around our face. This might take some time. I mean, this whole thing, the time lapse is misleading. It actually takes quite a fair amount of time to get your curls to be where you want them to be. And here we go. I ended up, because of the length of my hair, my curl, instead of going under, they kind of go out, but it's fine for me, so I'm not angry at that. And it just depends on your preferences with that type of situation and style that you are going for. So we're just going to finish this up, and then I'm going to seal it with another spray of all over the head of Got To Be, and then I'm going to seal that with a hair dryer. So the hair dryer will help dry it and like form like a helmet. And don't forget to go underneath the wig and finish off in there too with hairspray, because that's going to make a big difference in everything holding together for everything you need. Also, depending on the length of hair, you do have shoulders. So when you're sculpting your hair, you also may want to take into account not having it all married together and leaving a space for your shoulders, like if one piece goes forward and one piece goes back, and finishing it like that so that you don't end up with weird like extra edge, like strands of hair popping out that you really just don't want to have happen. So that's another thing to think about. You can also tease this bigger. I want this particular natural look because that's how my hair usually looks. And I kind of want it to be good for just throwing it on, being like, hey, what's up? I totally spent hours on my hair type situation. So I'm gonna finish this and then show you the finished product. Alright, there you have it. A really nice styled wig. That's easy, and a lot of different modifications you can make if you don't have all the products. I will probably, if you guys want, comment below. There's a way to do it without rollers, and I can show you how to do that. Also, if you have little flyaways, use your smoothing brush. And you've got to be, before you seal it to helmet head level, just kind of go over and smooth it. It is a smoothing brush. I don't know if you can see it with my lighting. There's a couple little flyaways. You can also use the back of this. This helps a lot. You just press in there, karate chop in there. Especially around the face. Smooth it down. And there you have it. Quick and easy, except it took 2 days and a bunch of hours. But you know, I mean, I think it's worth it. So give me a like down below, subscribe, don't forget to request some videos you want to see me make. Also, I have other social media things, I'm linking them down below. Still can't figure out how to get linked in my YouTube video that's clickable. Also, I think it kind of looks tacky to have that little bar that flows across the top. It looks like an ad. Not about that life. So, do the things. I also have a brand of rhinestones that's geared towards performers, so they're really high quality, and they are a really good price point for how many you get. So, go check those out down below, and I'll see you next time.